next author is Thais Bright Flower Gould Jacinto. Guess what? I'm gonna bring this down because I just feel more comfortable. Just a minute. She is lives in Bridgeton, New Jersey, and is a citizen of the Nanticoke Lenni Lenape Nation. I need to check, am I saying that correctly? I learned from a long time ago. Thais and I go back many years. My daughter Valerie was a young girl in grade school, and Thais is a friend, and in 3rd or 4th grade, they studied New Jersey. And so she gave Valerie all these beautiful things that she made and artifacts, and she did a whole presentation because of what she told me, and it was just fabulous. So thank you again. Maybe that was the beginning of me wanting to be a teacher. I don't know. Anyway, therefore, Thais Bright Flower was immersed in ancient tribal arts from an early age. Thais Bright Flower is a master artist with the New Jersey Council of the Arts and was featured in Passing It On, the state's newsletter and website. The New Jersey Senate and State Assembly have recognized Thais Bright Flower numerous times for her 40+ years of work with the Nanticoke Lenape Nation and Native Americans as a community leader. She also created a series of Cohanzic Lenape books and video materials to share her deep understanding of the Lenape culture and artistic expression. Thais and her husband Victor own a tourist ranch in Fairfield Township, New Jersey. They grow gourds and other plants and provide instruction on ancient Lenape arts by allowing the public to participate in hands-on activities. So let us welcome Thais Bright Flower Gould Jacinto.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really honored that I was called to present today my books and be amongst the other writers and for this fundraiser. So I present to you my Native American folk tales and inspirational books. And the reason why I do it is it gives voice to the voiceless, and a name to the nameless, and a face to the faceless. Writing gives identity to those who have had their identity stolen with the stroke of a pen. For centuries, history has taught that our people are something from the past, as if we are a relic. Our books in school talk about us like we do not exist, and that we are no longer walking on this earth. And then when we're taught in the home, it contradicts what we were taught in schools. And this has always confused my grandparents, my parents, my children, and myself. This is my legacy. I tell the stories to give this name to the nameless, and the voice to the voiceless, and the face to the faceless. I write the stories so that my children and grandchildren can have a sense of familiarity so that they are no longer confused. We all have a wonderful imagination and hear the stories from our elders, and that we can put a name and a face to these stories. Yes, these stories are my imagination. The stories give our people a place from inception to now. So I wanted to just introduce each book. I have several, I have 15. I did forget one, I apologize for that, but I'm going to explain it anyway. And the reason why I started writing is when I had my first grandchild in 2015, and my daughter was really excited. She called me over. She said, I wanted to show you my library that I started for the baby. It's our first grandchild. And I was really excited. I saw the many books on the shelf. And then when I got home, it dawned on me, there were not one book about Native American for children in her library. So I did some research, and I found that there are very few books that cover this subject that look like my children and my grandchildren. And you don't see this until you have grandchildren. I have 5 children, and I never noticed that there were no books like them. So this is all because I needed to show them that they have a face and a name in this world. So the first book that I did was The Tale of the Turkey's Detailed Tale. This is a whimsical rhyming book that tells how we discovered each other and what we had to offer and how trading began. We reveal history, allowing folklore to use their great imagination about subjects with deep hidden meanings about how things are. Chickaneem, which is a great, grand, masterful turkey who told man elaborate tales about many subjects. This story is great for all ages. So Chickaneem is Lenape for turkey, which is probably why we say chicken, because it's not said in Europe. It's called a pullet. So all my books do have some Lenape language because I had to incorporate that in there as well so that my children and grandchildren and my legacy can also have our language. The next book is called The Creator's Great Soup, and I wrote this when my son, who is now 19, he was in second grade, and I had to do a reading for school, and I said, let me write a story for this reading in school. And this is a fun story about how we are all related. Did you know that all Native American cultures offer many creation legends? Ideas and stories about the beginning of the world are different, but all conclude that we are all related. And we must teach the folklore about nature and relationships at an early age for them to be able to develop a rich and meaningful thinking and decisions. And this story is also good for all ages. The next book I wrote was called The Blossoms of Bright Flower. And this is actually an anthology and writings from me starting from the age of 13 in 1976 until I published the book in 2020. And this book was really difficult because to read my poetry and my writings from that age, I can hear my juvenile voice over the ages and as I matured. So it was difficult to publish it, but I thought it was very important for my legacy. And it's different than traditional anthologies, but it represents my expressions. And it's not a mistake that my name is Bright Flower, and the book is a compilation of writings as my flowers blossom. The title Blossoms of Bright Flower was selected because it represents my blossoming from childhood to today. The decision to create a colorful array of pictures to accompany this anthology celebrates my Native American heritage as a part of my expression, and the illustrator captured each thought with beautiful images and hidden meanings using colors and patterns that enhance the reader's thought and experience. This is also good for all ages. And the word anthology means blossomings. The next one was called The Wishing Doll, and this was based on a little true story, similar to what the little girl in the wishing doll. It's like, do wishes really come true? And what happens when we desire? And what does admiration mean? And we'll all learn a great lesson from the little Lenape girl and her incredible wisdom. Luckily, luckily for Mahala, not all wishes come true. The story tells of the wisdom of an ancient culture, the Nanticoke Lenape of New Jersey. And Mahala lived in the Cohantic Lenape village in a place now we call New Jersey. Her home was right along the Cohantic River between the bay and streams. And this journey brings the past to life in your imagination through time, as you are living in a Lenape village hundreds of years ago, before the natives discovered your pants. The illustrations are incredible, and the artist intrigues with each page with amazing details. The next one, which I didn't bring, collection, I don't know what happened. I do have one in the car though. It's called the Whisper Wind Song, and this story tells of wisdom of our ancient culture. Elia also lived in the Cohantic Lenape village, and it tells of defeat and triumph and never giving up. And parts of this story are of my personal story. The next one is Seek the Better Place. And this story tells how you can be satisfied with your accomplishments People will always have a little more and a little less. But if we're seeking in the wrong places, then we will never see what we have. So this story is about Keomini and his lessons about seeking. He lived in the Cohansik Lenape village in the area that we now call New Jersey. The next one is He Talks to Birds. So this story corrects the history of the Purple Martin birdhouse and how the creation of the gourd house came from the Lenape traditions. And a lot of this stuff is forgotten and rewritten, so this is why it's important. The next one is the precious Cohansik Lenape crabs. And this story is only a part of our lives based on what we experience as a people. And we face many changes, and the fact remains that our ancestors are we as our folklore. And this book was written to share my experiences walking the ditches with my dad, Chief Mark Quadhog, to gather crabs for our gatherings. The next is the Cohansik Lenape Village Tale Coloring and Activity Book. And this puts all of the books together and all the illustrations and the sayings in a coloring book so that you can experience all the pages that and color it in your own way. The next one is more for an adult, and it's called The Way to Riches is What You Think. And this is a treatise, and it's an observation of different teaching methods that I've tried and accomplished. And this is my attempt to help others with prosperity by sharing a small amount of knowledge and practice that has worked for me. And this is a mix of poetry, stories, wisdom, and it ends with a bit of humor. The next is 2021. Of course, this came out in 2021. Unlock Your Blessings. And this also has a calendar with it that you can track your progress. But this book was written to bring 20 virtues to practice for 28 days, which is our calendar, and the Lenape lunar calendar. And it takes 21 days to form a habit and 7 days to reflect. And these are all blessings. And once you practice these, then they're yours forever. The next one that just came out earlier this year is The Blossoms of Three Sisters. And this is carrying the seeds of our ancestors. And in the quiet corners of the world, where time weaves its tapestry of forgotten tales, lies the land of the Cohansik Indigenous people. And it's a place where rich with wisdom and deep-rooted traditions and the whispered echoes of generations past. And it's basically talking about the corn, bean, and squash. And it's our take on the corn, bean, and squash. The next one that just came out again this year is Little Talks with Grandmother. And it's in the hustle and bustle of our modern lives, it's easy to forget our profound connections with the natural world. I'm a conservationist, and I have a nature conservation place. And one of the things that I do study is trees and plants. And the place that I do own is within thousands of acres of untouched forest in Salem County. So we get caught up in the demands of the technology and progress, but is it for our material wealth or our mental wealth? So this is just a talk with a granddaughter talking to her grandmother, and it does have a little twist, so I can't really tell you much more. And the last one this just came out a couple of weeks ago. This is called The Whispering Vibrations of Nature, and it's an all poem book. So nobody told me I couldn't, so I could. So this book is woven with verses that resonate with the wisdom of ancient trees through the whispers of nature's soul by the words of a beautiful, tiny, illuminated insect. And actually this is inspired by a dream that I had. This little tiny insect that I didn't think existed came to me in my dreams. I got up early in the morning, looked it up, and there it was. It's called a woolly aphid, and it does exist. It looked like a little fairy. But it also brought a dire warning that our trees are sick. And then studying the woolly aphid, they're attracted to distressed trees because they drink the sap of distressed trees. And just recently, last week, I saw a lot of people posting, showing the woolly aphids on their tree branches and saying, what the heck are these tiny little iridescent bugs? So that book was just to bring light to the cause that the things that we're doing with the pesticides, herbicides, runoff on the farm, and the catch basins and our aquifers, we're gonna run out of fresh water soon. So that was just to bring to light what's going on in nature. Yes. Was it 20 years ago? It was before the pandemic, 2015. Yeah, 2015. I actually started writing in the 70s. Yes, I collect, my collection of anthologies. You know, we just put it in a binder. I have my original works. You know, and I did, I like calligraphy, so some of it's written in calligraphy. So since the 70s. My grandmother was a poet. They wrote a book about her, Strong Medicine Speaks, by Amy Hillhart, famous people who wrote the word written. But anyway, so I used to listen to her poetry. So since the 70s.
Do you also sell your books at your branch?
No, I only keep a small supply. I let everybody just go to Amazon again. So you just Google my name or Google my name. I know Google sells them. I know there are Barnes and Nobles. There's a lot of different places that do. Yeah. 1 minute. So anybody else have anything else? Sure.
The other birdhouses or not?
Yes. Okay. So so picture the Cohansey Lenape village. It's on the Cohansey River. So we have mosquitoes. So the purple martins are endangered, by the way, but they eat mosquitoes. So they fly in the spring, and they don't make their own nests, but they steal holes or nests from other animals or birds. We do have some issues now where the European starling, I believe it is taking over the nests for the purple martins, which is impeding some of the population. But we made the gourd houses, the bird houses out of gourds. The Lenapes are the first, and they hung all around the village. So so I just wanted to correct that narrative. But now we have to make the hole probably a half moon size, so that only the purple martins can get into the house. Yes, they like to dance in the sky. Yes. Yeah, they are. We just put them on the endangered species list this year. Thank you.